I'm so
That's
glad
like a
I didn't
mantra.
have. I
It
didn't. I
is.
didn't. I made the mistake or the tactical decision not to have children for that very reason. I remember what I was like as a teenager, and why the fuck would I want to go through that?
So did you have somebody take you to the hospital?
That's going to be a problem. I was thinking about that the other day. Who is going to take care of me?
Exactly,
You
my friend.
you better start spoiling any nieces and nephews,
I've
nice
got a
neighbors you
nephew.
have. There
I
you
got a
go. So
nephew. We get along
you
just fine.
you start spoiling that nephew, and maybe.
So I remember when Mom was in the ICU, we got out of there and or I was walking out to go to my car, and this black family had been there all day with us, and they were kicking up a storm, making jokes and everything else, just like Vivian and I were, because what else are you gonna do in the waiting room? So I was walking down there. He was going out for a smoke. He looks at me and he says, "Which which member of the family is in?" I told him, and he goes, "Oh, that's bad. It's a good thing she's got kids." He stops. He goes, "You got kids?" I said, "No." "You better get some." I just about died laughing. It was good. It was good, but it did raise that question: what the fuck is going to happen to me? Tagged by
Yeah.
Technobabble. How are you doing, chat? What are you up to?
Chat's been getting in here early and priming stuff.
I
So
know, I know. I do.
why
I
are you
do
being
have
so
something.
responsible?
There is something I want to share. Yeah. You
Oh,
see, one of our patrons, the great James Terrell, came up with this. And so this is wonderful because I don't have any original files or anything of our original logos because that's all gone somehow. So getting something refreshed and updated that looks really, really nice, it was just beautiful. So thank you, James. This is wonderful. I appreciate all the hard work you did. You were unasked, but the amount of work you did was great. So
Now,
I'm really pleased.
so why isn't that what you said before we got on the air?
He's a fan of British humor. He knows how this works.
You did. Paul wasn't actually doing that, but I said that I was going to say that he was. So
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
don't
Thanks for
don't
that.
actually take it like he was.
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate it. Yeah. Uh-huh. Anyway, we should probably go ahead and start the show.
should we really? You think
This seems pretty entertaining. I
that
don't
sounds like a
know.
terrible idea?
Oh man.
We could
Well,
spend the
let's.
entire hour talking about renovating Dee's home.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure
Well,
she could
let's
fill
let,
up that
let me
hour.
do the intro first. Let me say howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I'm Paulie Cooley. Joining me today is Veronica. Oh my God, my house is under construction. Jaguar and Terry. Oh my God, my wife's knee is under construction. Mixon, whatever your name is.
Yeah, whatever my name is.
How the
Whatever.
hell
Who
are you
knows?
people?
Fine.
Fine.
Okay. Fine. Fine. Not fine. Because we all know that if you
There's a big difference between those
there
two.
is. If you go, how are you? I'm fine. That's just you. I can hear like the two steps back and the okay. Put down the chocolate. Walk away. Nobody gets hurt.
Walk away slowly.
Yeah. No, it's just yeah, the planned the next stage of planned renovations has started. So I currently have no shower. Well, there's two bathrooms in the house, so there is a shower in one, but the one that is in the primary bedroom, it's gone. It has been chunked up into manageable, carryable pieces of fiberglass and carried out to the curb. And so currently, you can see a cement floor and piping and 2x4s. And lo and behold, I discovered yet again that the people who built my house were absolute twats.
Oh,
Because
That's a word I never expected to come out of your mouth.
and you know what? I could well, I've said it before. I've been paid to say it, but
Well, I know that, but I've never heard you say it before.
You've been paid to say lots of words.
Lots of things that would make me blush, I'm sure.
But I'm really good at it. So, so yeah, there's a piping for the vent, and then the actual like water pipes, and somehow, they managed to go around a corner without using corner joins, or like a full like 90-degree corner join for the PVC pipe, and the water pipes are like it. The guys took off the side of the shower, and I just heard a, "Hey, come look at this," which is never good.
Oh no.
And I looked at it with just like, my basic general engineering background and going, well, that's ridiculously inefficient. What asshole put that together? Oh, wait, the people who built my house, because we are constantly discovering fun things that folks just did not pay attention to or glossed over. So we have already made the prerequisite 3 trips to the home improvement store, because it's never a project until you make 3 trips. So we did that in the space of 4 hours. It's fantastic. And currently they are they're fixing the pipes for the shower. So the pipes actually come in, the vent piping. And I think they're actually going to put like the drain pan down today. But there's a lot of dust. And then to add insult to injury, the dryer died yesterday. There are sensors that are no longer telling when certain things are dry. And of course, it's out of warranty by a year. So we have a repair person coming later this week. But I will be using the clothesline tomorrow, because that's what we do, and because folks need clean underwear.
You
That
know,
is kind of important.
you and Terry should just drive by, do what we did for the first 5 years we owned the house. You drive by Home Depot once a week and you just throw money at it. You don't even go in. You just throw like $20 or $50, whatever you got lying around in front of the store.
I threw my firstborn child at them.
Well, no wonder they got back to you this way.
I mean, let's face it. My oldest works for Big Orange, so I have thrown. Yes, I have made sacrifices, but they like him and they keep promoting him. So what the hell? So
couple of things. Yeah. First, I really, really hope that the MG steps in there wearing a hard hat, safety glasses, and holding a sledgehammer, going, "We're ready to bust down the wall," because that would be awesome.
It would be. He just keeps going back and saying, because it's him and his dad. And, so my father-in-law, who's done this, who has remodeled countless bathrooms, countless kitchens. This was his bread and butter for years. He knows how to do it. But when you get family involved, then there's always headbutting and grumbling, and I just go, okay, need me for anything? Nope. Okay. So I stayed out of the room and brought what was needed and picked up lunch, and I'm being very supportive and distantly supportive.
Distantly supportive from over there.
Works really well.
The second thing is that the first person that owned our house, I don't know that he was the builder, but he's the one that was the handyman, with the air quotes, that fixed lots of things that we've been finding for 25 years.
Oh, Lord.
Nothing ever fixed in anything close to the right way. Ever.
Matt says, the price is your firstborn child. Seems like a deal. What? Have you met my firstborn child?
Oddly enough, both Paul and Terry have met my firstborn child years ago at Baltimore. Long time ago, when he was shorter than I was. And he among other things, he powered through. Like, he's read all of the Black that has been released. So
all right, start throwing Empire bones at him. It's time.
He doesn't do sci-fi. That's the thing. He's a
Rude.
horror. He's a horror. The Mighty Ginger has read everything you've written because that's more of his jam. So, but yeah, the eldest, the bear as we call him, he likes Stephen King, sci-fi horror. Actually asked for a book of like King short stories for Christmas. So.
So one other thing that I'll throw out, this really doesn't have anything to do with anything, is Chuck Norris passed away. The same day that Chuck Norris passed away, an old friend of mine died in the hospital. So I sent a message to my daughter about it. It's like, they passed away on the same day. Coincidence? I think not.
So, but here's the thing. Did you ever see your friend and Chuck Norris in the same room?
Considering that my friend is a relatively rotund Hispanic man with hair literally everywhere on his body, and more beyond that, they are not the same person. Not even close.
I don't know, man.
Well-
in whatever movie that was where Bruce Lee and he are sparring, it was so damn funny because Bruce Lee's got no chest hair, and they go over to Chuck Norris, and it's just a fur coat. It's just so damn funny.
Oh,
Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, Terry.
He's been in bad health for a very long time with uncontrolled diabetes and other health issues.
oh.
And so it's not a shock that he's passed, but it's sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear it, man. A man with hair
How,
in places most
how long
people
have I
don't even
known
have
that
places.
guy for? I met him in the early 90s. We've been friends since the early 90s.
Yikes.
Wow.
Well, it's a long time, man.
I'm going to outlive everybody I know, man. Every single last one of them. You two better watch yourselves.
If you've met me. So what else has been going on with you?
I'm writing on the new book. Things are going well. Cats are going crazy. Bug is in here just chasing everybody like a little furry menace. What else is going on? Oh, my wife has hit the downhill slope from her knee replacement surgery. Her leg is bruised all the way from the thigh down to her ankle, and she is having issues walking and doing things because now the pain has really rolled over her. So she's going to have a lot of fun recovery time and rehabilitation to get that back, just so she can do it again
With the other knee.
with the other knee. And then she keeps mumbling about hip replacement. And I'm like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
What is this? J.R. Hanley, listening to Paul and his Odyssey to find someone to answer who's your daddy query for its antiquity.
Matt is saying that, I believe he's saying that he is in fact in the hospital. If I am reading this
shit.
correct.
Sir,
Matt.
sir.
So while you're
Don't
there, while
so
you're
remember,
there,
don't
could
show
you-
this screen to anybody else because then they'll commit you and they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you're watching those yahoos? You really are, El."
What you need to go to while you're in there is make sure and recruit as many of the nursing staff as possible to continue watching the show, because we need crazy people.
Wait a minute, that's one of the hosts. What are you talking about?
One of.
Okay, maybe three of us.
Well, I meant nursing staff being crazy people to watch our
Uh-huh.
show, not us.
Oh, okay,
No,
well,
I know. I am related to nurses. There is a healthy level of insanity.
Well, I made it 2.5 months before having to go to the hospital again. I had to take
For
the
your
old man
dad.
in on Thursday. So he's coming. He came home today. But needless to say, the last 3-4 days, I haven't gotten anything accomplished. So I'm
How is that
behind.
different than the normal week for you?
I'm way behind. I was supposed to give the patrons like 6 episodes this week. They got nothing. So I got to get my shit together and get back on schedule, so to speak. But that's been the major thing. Yeah, I haven't gotten a whole lot of sleep this week. But I'm here, and that's what it is. So it is what it is.
Yay.
We'll get better, Matt. Damn it. This was my dad, okay? Some of the nurses couldn't take his guff. Others love it. All the time he's not being serious. Matt says, oh, there are two types of nurses, those who get me and those who are even worse. I like it. I like it a lot. Well, we are here to talk about certain things.
Uh-oh. You know, that sounds like
That's
we need to
ominous.
talk. That sounds like we need to talk.
Oh,
I'm about to hit. Where's this end stream button? I'm hitting that end stream button right now.
Oh.
I want to talk about dilithium crystals.
Have you tried replacing dilithium crystals with your new Folgers crystals?
I knew you were going to go with this joke.
Listeners of a certain age, Folgers crystals refers to coffee.
Dilithium crystals refers
I feel
to...
young for my age. Where's my teeth?
The reason I bring up dilithium crystals is in Star Trek and a lot of sci-fi shows, they use this shorthand bullshit to solve a lot of problems or try and make analogs to current technology that we might be able to understand without fully understanding what they're talking about. For instance, transparent aluminum. That's a thing that they just created out of whole cloth. And that's how they see through their windows. That's what those windows are made out of.
And yet they have managed to make it.
Yes. And yet they have managed to make it.
So science fiction has become science fact.
So it's
I'm waiting for my
aluminum, like
dilithium
saran
crystals. Saran wrap?
What? You said transparent aluminum. I was like, so is that like saran wrap?
No, it would be like the foil. What are you talking about? Saran wrap is plastic.
I'm not sure
But
how
that's
they
what I'm
make
saying,
aluminum
transparent
but
aluminum
nevertheless, they have
It's
managed.
saran wrap. You can see through saran wrap, and then
But see, back in the 80s or 70s when that came out, I guess it was one of the 80s movies that talked about the... Oh, God. Did does TNG even have dilithium crystals? I can't even remember.
yes,
I'm sure that they do. Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much all Trek has
I,
dilithium crystals. It's just I think the most recent ones there is a push to have something beyond that because of
the burn.
Yeah, because of what happened with the burn. So, but there is still warp technology. There are still dilithium crystals.
Okay.
I think it winds up being less of a power resource and more of a like power resource as we have and we power ships it into more of an economic power resource as this is something that not everyone has and people get shortchanged because they don't have enough of it.
Well, that's what it is. How does it work?
No one knows because they've never bothered to tell us.
Exactly. And it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't fucking matter. The way I think of that bullshit is basically they're trying to get across that they've got an engine that creates warp speed, and instead of gasoline, it has dilithium crystals or something to do with the dilithium crystals that causes the power, like she said. Very simple. It's very analogous to a gasoline engine, old-time combustion engine, because that's essentially what it is. It's just doing something really, really freaking cool that we couldn't possibly understand because the physics don't exist. And there's the point. The physics do not exist. It is the ham-wavium. It is the gobbledygook. It is the stuff of future science, whenever that might be.
Mm-hmm.
You may be prognosticating things that really come to be in 20 years, or you may be prognosticating on what a technology that's already out there how it might be a disruptor. But the bottom line is, the reader doesn't give a shit how it works. 19,000 times out of 20,000. They don't care. They just care that it works.
They care that it works and they care that you're consistent about how it works.
And that was the other thing I was going to bring out. As long as you were consistent and you make the rules pretty clear, no one's really going to complain. Unless that's your entire story, in which case, try again.
Just because you make the rules doesn't mean you can break the rules. Because if you break the rules, then you piss off your readers.
If you break the rules, you better have a damn good reason to do that. It's in the story.
Yes.
Let's see. James says it doesn't matter, but it has to work consistently. So if you say one day, hey, it does X, Y, Z, it still has to do that in later shows and books. Yes, agreed. Completely agreed. Terry, how many gobbledygooks things do you have in Empire of Gnomes?
Oh God, you expect me to count them? There's a lot. I've got plenty.
And do you have any shame about leveling all this gobbledygook?
Let's discuss what space opera is.
As opposed to hard science fiction?
I write space opera with a military science fiction bent, so I absolutely have no shame whatsoever about making up gobbledygook as long as it is consistent and it makes sense within the context of the story itself. I try to at least make my science either refer back to other science fiction tropes that the readers can grasp onto and get without an issue, or to make it something that's simple to understand and then keep it simple.
Right. Agreed.
You don't have to explain how it works. You just have to explain the circumstances under which it works.
I was just thinking about this. I did something really evil with the black.
You did a lot of things that are really evil with the
That's
black.
you think of one thing you did evil?
Well, I purposely made it break physics. It was just something it does. It does not work in a way that human beings understand, and the science is nebulous at best. I think in Extinction, I describe how the black works, but I would never be able to tell you how it does what it does. Nor do I care to. It is a creature beyond our understanding, and that is the important bit that you need to know. Other than that, there's not much else to say to it. Did the black do anything that wasn't evil? I don't know. You've read it. You've read Extinction. What do you think? Anyway, I could get away with that because the way I couched it at the very beginning. It's not something that's that is, and it even says that on the back. You know, this is something that is not going to make sense. It's just going to work the way it works. Hold on for a ride, and hopefully I give you a good one. It's that simple. But with science fiction stuff that's set out in space, I think the average reader of that material is going to require you to either adhere to known laws as best you can, or to break them but let them know that you've broken them. Whatever those might be. Faster than light speed travel? Okay, fine. Let's set some limits on that and go from there. It still takes a long ass time to get somewhere. Well, okay, we got warp speed, we got dimensional travel, things like that, where what would take 2,000 years at light speed now takes 20 minutes. I mean, you just have to explain how it works, and you have to think about those mechanics when you're designing your story. How long does it take people to get to where they need to go? That kind of thing happens in even the real world. If I have to get to LA, obviously I'm going to fly and not drive. Driving is going to take me several days, depending on where I'm coming from, whereas flying may take me 6 or 7 hours. So there's a lot of things you have to think about when you construct your story about how many of these things actually matter to the universe that you've set up, and how to communicate those things to the reader so it's not a surprise.
And something that I've had to deal with is if you have tech and it breaks, and the breaking of the tech is a core plot point of your story, you have to be able to explain somewhat of how you have to explain how the tech works on some scale, so that you're able to show what can fix it and why it gets fixed.
Right.
Yeah, that was fun.
James says, "Oh wait, there are known laws, and they are really annoyingly broken in many films, books, shows without explanation." This is true.
Yeah,
this is true.
And there are plenty of people, myself included, who I will suspend belief for a lot of things if the story's good. But if your story's mediocre and you start breaking rules, I'm out. I can't. I cannot enjoy a story like that. You have to work to turn my brain off, and I'll go, "Oh, this is a great story. Yeah, that's kind of silly, but I like the story."
Right.
Or if your science is good and the story is, it's like, well, the premise is mediocre, but wow, I love what they're doing with the science. So
How do you choose names for your gobbledygook?
I choose my names usually based on things that I've read in the past. It's if I can do shorthand, I won't hesitate to do shorthand because that only makes sense for what I'm doing. There's a ton of science fiction that's out there. Why should I reinvent the wheel? So if I can name something in the same way as something else that's been named that in the past, that because it's literally the same thing, I'll do it. If I have to come up with something like the fold space drive, I do that because they travel through folded space. I make it something so that there is an obvious direct connection to what the tech is wherever I possibly can. I don't name it Bob's hand wavium whatever device.
Unobtainium. Unobtainium. That's my favorite. Unobtainium. Oh my God.
I mean, I lucked out. I had to use what was there before. Because it had already been established in the world.
Yeah.
But I still, I mean, there were other like small things like rules and whatnot. If I can get away with, can
I have a gadget which has a laser or something like that? Or
yeah,
whatever.
if I can get away with tuckerizing something, I will. And there will be like in Ship Who Dared, I introduced the Mixon's Military Law Compendium because I needed a book, and I needed a book that had laws about space and maritime law. I don't know what it's called. But I needed to cite something, and that was, I was like, and we looked at this, and I didn't get called on. It's like, okay, it's there. So, lovely things.
Well, thank you.
Matt says, it's like you're reading what I'm working on right now, V. That is exactly what I'm doing. Introduce one new piece of tech, rely on it, then take it away. Oh dear. Yes.
That's what I wrote. I wrote
That's what
tech
I do.
that, yeah, it's constantly breaking, and they have to figure out why it's breaking. And I don't, there was a point where I had to explain how the jump drive worked. Not necessarily, but not how it worked down to the nitty gritty, but what it would look like if you plotted the route and why certain routes were going through. And I essentially cribbed a bunch of calculus and said, yeah, this is how it works. And my writing partner was like, that's good. That flies. Let's make sure that works for everybody else. And the editor was like, yes, that will work fine. I'm like, yes. But
that's really all you have to do if you want to go
exactly.
Into that
you just have to be just enough so someone you go, that's plausible. All right. And run with it. But I can tell you I didn't have that explanation at the start of stuff. That was literally like inspired in the moment, like, how can I this will work. So, but I think it's rare that you have to explain how something works. 9 times out of 10, you can get away with just going, this is what it is, and these are the consistent rules, and this is where it's used, and that's how it always is. And then move on.
James says, and even if you don't explain it, you need to think how it would affect the world in practical ways. Peter F. Hamilton did a great job with his transportation rings. Which book is that in? James, which series is that in? I can't remember. The Ex Machina.
The Ex Engineer. That's what that is.
Yeah, that too. Might have to call on you and Matt at the same time. Get you guys to do some force calculations for me. Some complicated.
No. I'm not. No, my math right now is stopping at trig.
Is that in Commonwealth? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, I know the one. I know what you're talking about.
Now he remembers.
Talking about now. I know what he's talking about now. OnlyFans Doom.
How did you find Paul's hidden OnlyFans account? How did you?
How did you find that
rename
post?
It now, Paul.
See, JR says naming things require you to add of doom to make us know that it is ominous.
See? see.
The head of doom. Well, see what the problem is, you got demon there in your shitter. So what you got to do is you get your dilithium crystals in there and give it a good swirl and then flush it. It'll be fine.
Dilithium swirlies.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
That sounds like exhaust. It's like you have the wake that behind, cruise ship. It's that little eddies and swirls behind a starship.
That's what a normal person would think. However, anybody that's ever been, a guy in school that's been hazed knows exactly what a swirly is.
Yes.
I know of them.
I didn't have it happen to me, but I knew what they were. I knew to fear the right people.
That says I created my problem, worked out my solution, and then built the story. Then halfway through, discovered my solution wouldn't completely work and had to work out how the hell they survive.
Sounds
Terry,
like a marvelous plan to me.
You ever been there, Terry?
Yes, I have. I have, in fact, been there. And that actually makes for fun storytelling.
In station,
because when you're busy struggling, going, how am I going to get out of this? You're just as desperate as they are to get out. So it really bleeds through.
In Station 3, I had an opportunity to do about 10,000 words into the medical bay, but everything that I imagined in the medical bay would be totally deadly considering what kind of shape he was already in. So it's like I had to bypass that, otherwise there was no way he would survive because I had fucked him up so bad in the last 3 scenes. I still may write it. It could happen. Yeah, if you get the rings that take you anywhere, then you don't need spaceships. How boring. They are basically pointless. Yeah. Yeah, except for probably the rich who want to go out there. But it is interesting. Some of the tech can make things redundant. Like imagine a world where you don't have cars. You have your little slip gate or whatever the hell it is. You just walk into your closet and suddenly you're at the Starbucks or wherever the hell it is you get coffee. That would definitely change the world in a big, big way. Getting into the scrapes where you've done so much damage to the ship, to the person, to the whatever, and then having to figure out how you're going to get them through. How possibly can you have the hand of God pick them up and kind of carry them through the mess, even though it looks like they're walking through it. You guide them through the mess to get out of it. That's part of what we do. It's part of what makes it fun. But if you Discovery writers out there, you know what happens. You know what's going to happen.
I'm going to post a link to a adventure for Traveler that I chanced across yesterday in live, because I think that it definitely has something of what you're speaking of. And V, I'm not sure what's doing that vibrating, but I think it's coming from you. Whatever it is, it's going crazy.
Weird. Okay. So that should be the only thing that vibrates on my desk.
Well, it stopped.
It stopped, so that must have been it.
Wow.
All right, I am pasting this here. Read the blurb on this sucker, Paul, and tell me if that's not something you would do to somebody.
Let's see here. Yes, I'm not a robot. After the spectacular failure of the last mission, the travelers expected to wake up dead or worse. They were injured and captured and dying. The ship was lost. The mission was a failure, and the patron would not be paying. Such is life when you live a life of adventure and risk. Every day is a new gamble, and this time the dice came up snake eyes. And then things got worse. How could they, you ask? Well, when they woke up aboard a tramp freighter, a slave ship, they woke up in low passage stasis tubes that stopped working and allowed them to wake up slowly. Smoke filled the cabins. Warning clocks on it indicated an emergency was in progress. Computerized voices were warning about some danger and a whole depressurization imminent. Okay, so they can get worse. And then things really went to... I'll leave it to your imagination. They will too.
Things start out bad and they go downhill from there.
So I can tell you that I have narrated at least one story like that because it's an alien romance story. And it starts with a kidnapping and they end up on a slave ship. The slave ship crashes and there are survivors. But the survivors are all female. And of course, they run across a collection of aliens.
With the right equipment.
Try not to be thrilled with that, aliens.
I mean, 7-foot muscular tailed aliens that just happen to be
Compatible.
phenotypically compatible. Sure. Yeah. That
You know,
Wake Up
it's
Dead is a
tough
good
when
line.
you have corkscrew genitalia and you run into somebody else with corkscrew genitalia, but it goes the opposite direction.
I got nothing. I'm gonna let that just go. Just gonna let that go. Don't be a hater, V.
I'm not. Why'd I be hating something that gets me paid? Yes.
All right, what is pushing it? What's pushing it too far? Can you think of
Is there such a thing?
Well, yeah, there is. You introduce a new weapon without ever talking about it before. And you have no reason, there's no reason given why that weapon exists. It just suddenly is there.
Well, that's poor planning and execution. That's not really what you said.
No, that's true. Can you think of a way to push it too far?
I think if you have technology or science in there that prevents your characters from problem solving, or you can have technology that's too convenient.
Oh, okay.
Or that never breaks.
Or that never breaks, never fails.
Yeah.
I think that all depends on exactly what tech you're talking about. There's no reason why that weapon exists. Come on, Paul, you're taking the piss now, aren't you? Yes, I am. I am. I wanted to see you catch that.
Rowdy,
but I gave a reason
I've read
why
that
it existed.
Yeah.
Who's pushing
that
it too far
exists.
in a story? An FTL drive that is fueled off the sexual activity of the crew. That story
that's Nobilis.
Does exist. That is Nobilis Erotica Scouts, I believe is the book.
It is.
Go
and
check
then
it out.
At least the first book, Monster Whisperer, has drives and technology that are fueled by interstellar creatures that are fueled by interspecies sex.
Need an ASN stat. I don't think you're going to find that one on Amazon, but it could be wrong. Oh, that's good. Spell Amazon wrong, Paul. Pretty sure you got to go somewhere else to get that. No, son of a bitch. It's on paperback for Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the ebook, though. You'll have to go look for it on somebody else's site. You have to go look for that. Anyway, yeah, so it's kind of hard to imagine something that is too far.
I wrote a fantasy novel, a novel called Will of the Gods. There was something before I wrote anything else I published under my own name. It's a fantasy setting with magic, but the magic is powered by sex. Doesn't matter what kind of sex, whatever it is, arousal feeds into the magic, and that's what it is.
Okay. Consistent rules.
It may actually still be on Amazon under Lynn Mixon. Not sure.
Let's see. Just to reaffirm my view, James says, magic equals explain with supernatural, sci-fi equals explain with Handwavium technology.
Sort of. Sci-fi can be either explain with Handwavium or explain with actual hard science. There are two different flavors of science fiction if you really chop it down the middle, and that's hard science fiction and space opera.
Is it possible to have conflicting tech in one world, JR asks, that crosses each other out? Sure.
Yeah.
Missiles.
I have read a story that was written, I think it was by John Ringo, which was what did with world hopping, and there was a world that had both magic and technology in it, and it was complicated. It was
I'm sure it got real
complicated.
complicated. That would give me freaking nightmares.
Yeah, or you've got those, depending upon the number of civilizations, you can have one civilization that is technology and then another looking at it who doesn't understand the science and just ascribing it to magic. It's a perspective thing.
Ratty says, I wrote a fantasy story where healers had to have sex before healing. How about they have sex to heal you? That could get into all kinds of sticky situations, and that was the wrong fucking word to use. Space fantasy is a thing too.
Why, yes, it was. In fact,
took a moment, didn't it?
The wrong word to use. No, I was just
Took a
waiting
long
for it to
moment.
settle. I was waiting for it to settle.
Yes, James, all the coders know why you're in the habit of using equal for true-false statements. We know. I let it go. Let it go. I need to watch my words a little more carefully. Let's see. Matt says, I'm hitting both right now. For the first time in years, I got to the point of needing calculus to check what started as a simple statement. Sometimes the rabbit holes suck. Sometimes you fill up the rabbit hole and you act like you never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Just cover it up and move on if it gets too complicated. What's your favorite gobbledygook?
I'm not sure.
I mean,
That's a hard question, isn't it?
granted, I think the best one, if we're looking for purely technology, and even then it might not be considered purely technology, would have to be the TARDIS, because it is because there are such loose rules around it. And I think because you're accommodating a series that has spanned decades and different iterations of characters and supporting characters, but there are still some hard and fast rules. So that I will still argue that the Force is magic and not science.
We'll get to that.
We'll
get to that in a minute.
Sorry.
Terry, do you have a favorite?
Of Handwavium,
Yeah.
I like what Glenn Stewart does with magic-powered technology.
Spaceships. Yeah.
Yeah. Not just spaceships. He does magic-powered technology of various kinds. Okay. And it's an interesting blend of fantasy and science fiction Handwavium all together. And I have to say that's my favorite.
Okay. Let's see. GR says, Forces of Science. Midichlorians, anyone? We were talking about things that went a step too far. That's the one I could not think of. For me, as a person who saw Star Wars in the theater in 1977 in Canada and remembers every bit of when I sat through that movie, the midichlorian thing is a slap in the face and an insult to the entire thing that is the Force. And I guess that's one of the reasons why I can't stand anything new from that series.
It wound up being an attempt to throw an explanation to something that was okay not being explained.
Like it was better than when it wasn't explained.
Yeah, you had a good setup of another like chosen one, scenario that you don't have to explain those.
No. You know how they could have done it and done it well is if Qui-Gon Jinn just basically touched his shoulder and felt something. That's all they needed to do.
Yeah.
That's all they needed to do. Mm-hmm. They could have had an image flash or something like that to explain, or just basically let on that there's something weird with this kid. And then Qui-Gon can explain it to Obi-Wan and we're done. We just move on.
And even then, they also said there was something weird because his mom, she said he doesn't have a father. He just appeared. But again, that, if you don't throw anything else in, that still tracks with the fantasy, with the, your genre, your trope of, a chosen one with questionable or like unclear parentage. That's okay. That still works. But when you start trying to put science into something where, people understand the science includes these lightsabers, it includes interstellar travel, it includes all of this, it includes
robots,
sentient droids, it's got, all of these different things that we're like, yeah, I can buy into that. But the minute you try to explain something that has been, mystic before, we call bullshit.
Yeah, we call bullshit.
Yeah.
For the record, if I was joking, AR says, midichlorians is not canon for me. I figured you were. James says, Frank Herbert was one of the godfathers of mixing science and magic. I love the way he described how swords and knives have become necessary due to the shield technology. Right, so the shield technology cancels out the beam weapons, and therefore you have to do something with, and cancels out projectiles, therefore you have to get within the shield to do damage with a knife or something like that. I love it too.
Yeah. Another good example of someone who blends both magic and technology together is N.K. Jemisin in her 5th season trilogy, because magic is accepted as magic is accepted, but there is a scientific explanation behind who can and cannot do magic.
Okay.
Whereas it's like, it's another like organ thing, like in the brain that develops for some people and doesn't develop for others. And if it develops, then you're able to do,
Oh boy.
What?
Nothing. It's me. I had a thought a long time ago of Tony Downs, for instance, having a head wound and having to go in. They take an MRI and they find out there's a tumor on his pineal gland. And there's always been a tumor on his pineal gland.
Yeah.
So, interesting ideas. Matt says, I'm using some scientifically sound quantum theory mixed with complete bullshit, but it's close enough that I can say we can make it work, but I'm not sure why. Like make fire, but not understand combustion. There you go. That's a good example. That's a really good example. I don't need to know how fire works. I only need to know that I put some leaves down, I press the button or rub the sticks together, a spark flies, and suddenly we get fire. Or I use one of those when it works.
It works. But yeah, do I know how it works? No, I just know that I, rocket forward and pull the trigger and fire.
Sometimes it actually puts off flame.
Sometimes then it doesn't, and I try to light the candle again, then I go, because all the gases. That stuff.
James says, however, he was a bit naive, talking about the Frank Herbert rather, because we know how fanatics would just use those shields and beam weapons as suicide troopers to obliterate enemies or kill Zamwars. Didn't they actually do that? Didn't the Fremen actually go bonkers and do some suicide runs in the books?
I think so.
Maybe I'm just imagining that, but is what it is. It was good though. Maybe I dreamt it. Because the Imperium certainly thought they were, or whatever they call themselves, the Empire certainly thought they were fanatics. I guess they were, really, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. They use nukes. That's right. They use nukes. I was talking about the shields that also the shields that the guys can wear, like Duncan, whatever his name is, and Duncan Hurney. No, so that's Gurney Halleck. Which one's Duncan?
It's a state name. It is
Idaho.
Duncan, Montana. Duncan, Idaho. Duncan, Idaho.
Duncan,
yes.
Idaho.
Yeah. I remember reading that going, potato what? Okay.
That's the problem, really. Duncan, Idaho. Yeah. Yeah, that I don't understand why more of them weren't rocking those things and running through there and just attacking the guards, but whatever. But if you'll remember, at least in the I don't know if they did in the new movie, but in the Lynch movie, they used some kind of tool that fired into the shield and bored through it and then killed them. Everyone wore shields. I can't remember. It's been so long. This is hard on chat. Duncan Montana, it was less interesting cousin. That's awesome. Chat, what's your favorite ham
Well,
waving?
hang on now. We need to discuss this here. How do we know which is more interesting, Idaho or Montana? I'm really not sure that there's a lot of interest in either one here.
One has potatoes.
And I'm not sure that's a positive thing here.
JR says swords make sense in sci-fi too for boarding actions. Would not want to poke holes in your home in the void. Right, which is why in Dare like they use flechettes that will not pierce the hole.
Let's discuss the concept of frangible rounds, shall we?
Frangible
Since we're
rounds.
talking tech.
Duncan Delaware has entered the chat. Hannah Montana. Come on, Rowdy. Potatoes equal vodka, Terry. It's a very good
somebody
point.
that doesn't drink, I don't care about vodka.
It will matter to people on a spaceship, trust me. All I know is never play cards with anyone named after a city or state. Yeah, kid Kansas City or kid St. Louis is going to clean you out. In every way imaginable.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
Let's see, in worlds where blades are used in sci-fi, they tend to have converted from kinetic to plasma weaponry. I buy that. I like you said, you don't want to perforate your hull, so you're going to have some kind of weapon, either a stun weapon or something along those lines, something that energy weapon of some kind that will not pierce the hull. Otherwise, you've just complicated everything. You may shoot a hole through your own hull, and that would be kind of bad. So yeah, I like that low-tech weaponry in that case. All right, James says he's gonna school me on this. He's gonna learn me something.
Stand back, everybody. Stand back.
He's gonna James-splain something to me. Okay, in brief, everyone had shields, and because lasers plus shield equal nuclear explosions, people stopped using lasers, and only slow-moving objects can pierce the shield. Okay. Stopped and not shopped. Yeah, I got it. I stumbled, but I got it. Okay, fair enough. I read that book back in 83, 84. It's been a while. I've seen the Lynch movie like a dozen times because it was always on for a long time. Anyway, what's your favorite hand wavium, folks? I want to hear some good ones here. I haven't read nearly as much space-borne sci-fi as y'all have. What's your favorite hand wavium? Or fantasy, for that matter. But that doesn't stop one enemy from being cray-cray and just using a laser to obliterate the enemy. Yeah, I gotcha. My favorite hand wavium. Hand wavium for me is always the inversion of the dilithium crystals, J.R. Hanley says. I don't even know what that means. Dilithium crystals inverted? What the hell does that do? Reverse warp?
I think he's lost his little mind. What little of it he has left.
That would be shocking. Neither did the writers. Neither did the writers. I love that. I do think sometimes the Star Trek writers and probably even Star Wars writers and everybody else, they're like, I need a name for this. What do we call this? And how does it work? We don't care how it works. Throw in some other gobbledygook and hand wavium names. We'll be fine.
You got to think about how these writers never really talked to each other and when they were doing these things. And it's like watching the old Lost in Space episodes where one episode the robot could talk and was sentient, and the next time it was like, danger, 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 and has no intelligence to it at all. But even in Star Trek, where they were better at it, they still had big slip-ups, even, shall we say. Like the one where they discovered they had, the Starfleet people had little things burrowed into the back of their spinal cords.
Yeah.
And there's the meme going around, John, we did tell somebody about that, right? Because they never mentioned it ever again.
Nope.
It appeared in that episode. Never mentioned again.
And I thought that was going to be a long arc. I thought
I
they
did
were going to
too.
end up fighting captains of other spaceships that have been taken over. I lost the thread on that one.
Yeah, I was totally funny. Like, John, look, we did tell somebody about that, right?
One would hope. That says for him, still anything time travel, there's almost no way that it ever goes well, especially when someone tries to use time travel as a solution to any problem. Anyone for making everything worse. Yeah, that's a good point.
Basically, I think what he's saying is reverse is an inversion. I think what he's trying to say is cross-circuiting A to B, which they did on occasion.
Okay. Polarity of the dilithium crystals of plastic technobabble solution frequently used by Starfleet engineers to prevent a warp core breach or solve impossible engineering. Got it. Reverse is an inversion. There go my statement. I got you, JR.
I like when they brought Scotty in from the past, and he kept freaking out about things that were going on in engineering, and Jordy's like, it's okay. It's okay. We figured that out. This is perfectly cool. All of your Technobabble fixes are no longer required. We've got it covered.
Well, you see, you got to put the still right there, though. You don't have a still right there. I don't understand how this is a spaceship. There's not a still right there. You better get a still in there right now.
So you reminded me something that nobody's brought up, but a marvelous example of when hand wavium goes when someone takes it a little too seriously. Remember Galaxy Quest?
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh,
the meta. The meta is so meta.
So it's one brilliant movie. But the fact that these aliens go and not only take this series as like law and canon and religious text, but they manage to create all of the technology that is referenced in this show, and they make it real. It becomes like actual working stuff. And so you've got people who have gone through the motions, and yet they're like, wait, this shit works. I can actually like move. So, oh yeah, just do the exact same thing on the show. I have no idea what I did on the ship. That was like 10 years ago. Shit, what do we do? Especially when they're moving the ship out from dock and they
just bashing the shit out of everything.
It's great.
James says, when tech gets to the point where you have hillbilly space travelers. So let me tell you something. There's a book by Michael... Can't remember your fucking name. It's called Space Billies. And it's what happens when aliens capture a group of hillbillies. And it doesn't end well. That episode still drives how I estimate timescales in work, Matt says. Calculate, multiply by 3, then come in under budget and look like a god. Fucking when I saw that episode, that set me up for success as a lead software engineer. Really pissed off my boss because he knew I would give him a deadline that he knew I would have it done in half that time. Otherwise, he'd give me, a quarter of the time to get it done. Now I want a space Walmart, JR says. Is there like a space channel for the space people of Walmart? Linesman S.K. Dunstall. Okay, not familiar.
No?
Not familiar. Oh. No?
Yeah, that series is... I haven't listened to that series. But S.K. Dunstall did... read the first one. Stars Uncharted. Which was a really good dual POV space opera sort of thing. Emily Lou Zeller narrates it, and it's really good.
Okay.
It's the first of a trilogy. Right. But Linesman is another set that's been written.
Ferengi on the cash registers. On that note, if you have a comment or question about this episode or any of the others, Go to our website at deadrobotsociety.com, punch that comment button and send us an email. Or you can find this episode on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast. Leave us a comment there. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live, which is every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST, except when we are not. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you get access to exclusive live shows like the one that's coming up in just about 10 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Nate Cole, Xander, Antoine Batts, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. JR says he sent me an email and got a cease and desist letter from the lawyers. Dude, that's just a standard thing when I just put that filter in there. Sorry about that.
That's his auto reply. Sorry.
Okay, except we're not. Well, what do you want from me? We have lawyers. On that note, we're going to get out of here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you had some fun and maybe even learned a few things that could always happen. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
As my door mysteriously opens. Bye.